the question is how students can tidy up their text. For example, they have planned, they have brainstormed about a topic, they have produced first draft, and the teacher has given feedback or response simultaneously. But how they can tidy up their written piece of draft. This is what we will discuss, and this comes under the heading of editing. Editing has its own significance in terms of engaging students in tidying up their texts. When they tidy up their texts, they are made careful which area to be presented neatly and which areas can be ignored. So there are a range of strategies. One of the effective strategy could be like you can put the students into pairs, and one student can edit other students' work. One group can edit other groups' work. So what they edit is a range of elements of writing. For example, grammar, then spelling, and these can be done individually, but in doing it individually may not be as useful as doing it in pairs or in groups. And then punctuation, and then diction, overall syntactic structures, and then supporting materials. So these areas, these mechanics of writing can be polished in the editing phase. And remember, in this regard, our role as language teachers is not passive. Rather, walking from one group to the other is pivotal in terms of offering support to the students, in terms of, individualizing our feedback and personalizing our feedback and making them realize that what they are doing is important. And editing is a quite messy thing. And in this regard, it's important to mention that we don't make students edit and see it as a final stage, because there will be feedback to be followed. There can be publication to be followed. So editing is actually different. The formal editing, the final editing, this is actually kind of classified within planning, within drafting, within feedback, and then editing. So there is a checklist which we can use as language teachers to guide us, our students, do editing. And we can make our students aware of the verbs, the use of verbs in the correct tense. And we can also make them see if the verb forms are used correctly, if there is neat and correct subject-verb agreement. And what about the prepositions? Are the prepositions used correctly? And what about the articles a, an, and the correct use of pronouns? And apart from this list, there can be some other areas or mechanics which you can draw up yourself and present to your students and offer them as a checklist to look at while editing their work. So as students, they are not expected to know every error. This is our job. What patterns, what categories of errors we want our students to focus. And it has to be the aim of the lesson, and the lesson may vary from lesson to lesson. For example, today you might focus on the use of error of the article. In the next class or in the next week, you might focus on the use of preposition. So this is how students are not expected to cover each and every error in one session. So our job as language teacher is to help students make the best use of their ability to edit. And editing within process writing is meaningful. And this is the beauty of process writing, that it it's not seen like a product which is written, which is finally evaluated and sent for marking. No, this is the beauty of process writing, that editing is incorporated as an effective tool, and which makes the students know the gaps between their current and desired performance, which is indeed offered by the teachers themselves.